My name's Oksana. I'm 34 years old. I was born in Ukraine. Right after I was born, the communism came down, and my family, we came to America as refugees when I was 6 years old or 7 years old. I'm from a Christian family, but I didn't really want anything to do with that. Yeah, so I come from a very big family. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and so my parents, they did their best to raise us. I had a really good childhood. I was happy. Our parents took us everywhere, and then my dad I started being growing up as a teenager and trying different things, and my dad didn't know how to deal with me, so he pretty much just kind of abused us. He would beat us, and then he would say, if I don't beat you, that means I don't love you, because the Bible says things like that, like that you should hit your kids if you love them. So he would beat me, but sometimes he would beat me uncontrollably to the point where I would have, he would take a belt buckle, and I would have the belt buckle on my face, all over my body. So there was days when I couldn't go to school because I didn't want to get my parents in trouble. Also, he started drinking, and then he would beat me while he was drunk, and he would forget about it. So I started running away from home. My dad would beat me, I would run away, and then at the age of 13 was the first time I actually tried drugs. It was crystal meth. It was I didn't know what it was called. Somebody just gave it to me, like, here, this will make you feel better. And so that's how I started doing drugs, just not knowing what it was, and it made me feel better. It made me numb, it made me forget about everything, and I fell in love with that feeling, you just take a hit and you're good. I didn't want nothing to do with the church, because the church people always let me down. They never accepted me, the way I dressed, or just the way I looked. I never fit into the world. I never fit into the church world. I was always unaccepted because my hair was a certain color, or my nails, or just anything. So there was one night where I went out with a friend, and it was these church people and a church leader, and that church leader, I took one sip of one drink, and then after that I blacked out. I don't remember anything. And then I remember just parts of that night where he pretty much raped me. He raped me, and I don't remember any of this, but he dropped me off at home with one shoe on, and I was just a mess. And after that, I started hating church people even more. I'm like, if this is what kind of leaders you have in church, then I really don't want anything to do with God, My dad would beat me in the name of God. The other guy raped me, so I want nothing to do with God. So that led me even to deeper drugs. And that also led me to since I was raped so many times and just abused, I started just sleeping around with randomly, and I wanted to hurt guys. I wanted to hurt men. I would just sleep with them, and then the next day I would leave them. I wanted nothing to do with them. It was usually men do this to women, but I became that woman that did that to men. I would get them hooked and then just be like, bye, I want nothing to do with you. But that left me even more empty than anything, because it was just, nothing fulfilled me. So and I was, all my life I've been suicidal. Since I was younger, I don't know why, I just didn't want to be alive. So, and a lot of times I would deal with my pain. People would hurt me and bully me in schools, and I would deal with it by actually harming my wrists and cutting my wrists and trying to hurt myself. Instead of hurting other people, I would actually harm myself. And then people would see my scars and would make fun of me even more and call me a freak, and just made me even into go deeper. So I would do more and more drugs, and then at the age of 17 I went into rehab. My parents paid for a rehab for 1 year I was in rehab, and I got completely set free from drugs. And after that year I came out, so after the year I came out, I met a man at a gas station. He was Mexican, all tatted up, and he was like, hey, you want to smoke a blunt? I'm like, sure, let's do it. Not knowing that he was like a big drug dealer or anything. I was just started hanging out with him, and then getting to know him, and then I kind of fell in love with him. And it was the first guy that I like really fell in love with. And I was 18 years old. And then like a month or a couple months into it, he tells me, hey, like, I just want you to know, like, we have a family business. And he was actually like a drug cartel. They were transporting narcotics, like huge amounts of narcotics from California to Mexico. And like, so it was like a family business, but like at first I was like, ah, and then I just kind of went with it. So I've seen like lots of drugs, lots of guns. And that made, and just the money too, how easy it was to transport drugs and make money. And like I kind of fell in love with that too, and then the power that you get from that. So eventually I left him, and then I ventured off and started selling my own narcotics, which was heroin, and I was really, really good at it. I started selling heroin, and that's like the only thing that I knew how to do. I knew how to make money off of something that people needed, and it was easy for me. But it's also a very dangerous life, because people want to rob you, people want to kill you, people they use you just to be close to you. Especially heroin. It's one of those drugs where you need it on a daily basis to feel better. You need it to, like, once you're addicted to it, you can't go a day without it. You need it every single day, and a couple times a day. If you don't take it, you have withdrawals. You feel like you're dying. So you pretty much you need it. Like every couple hours, you need your dose. Especially if you start using like your veins to shoot up. I got robbed multiple times. Like I got robbed multiple times. I've been shot at multiple times. You know, I had bullets fly past me, and like it's a miracle that I'm still alive to this day. Just like the things that have happened to me, it's. Like in any normal situation, I would have been dead so many times. But for some reason, like I'm like God's keeping me alive. So I was robbed. So I owed a lot of money to another drug dealer to pay him back, and I couldn't. So I started robbing people. I started stealing. I started doing all kinds of things just to get money, because they were threatening to kill my family. So I was trying to, like, doesn't make sense, right? You try to rob people because people rob you to replace what. So I ended up being caught. The cops caught me, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going to prison. Like, and they're like what you're looking at, because all these charges started popping up left and right, and they're like, what you're looking at is 22 years in prison. And I was like, okay, 22 years. Like for me, it was like a very sobering moment. I'm like, 22 years in prison. You know, and for me, prison, that was like the worst nightmare. Like, your life is over in 22 years. I was at that time 23 years old, and I'm like, I would get out in my like 40s, and like who knows what would have happened if I did that. But that's the moment when I just surrendered. I surrendered, and I was like, okay, I know there's a God, and I know He's been knocking at my heart, and this is finally my moment. So I surrendered my life to God. I'm like, I brought Him my ashes, my brokenness, I was like 45 kilos at that moment, and I was just skin and bones. And I'm like, here, you want this? You can have this, you know? You can have all of this. And I pretty much brought Him my ashes. And He took these ashes and turned it into something beautiful. I told Him, from this moment on, my life is no longer my own. I give it all fully to You. I am a vessel created for You. Take it, break it, shake it, and shape it into a vessel for Your glory. And what happened is, like, I had withdrawals from heroin. My withdrawals just went away. I didn't have any withdrawals at all. Usually it takes 2 weeks to recover from heroin, to feel your body, to feel normal. I didn't have nothing. And He erased my mind, all the bad things that ever happened to me, like everything bad that I did. He just completely just erased it. I couldn't picture the way drugs looked like. I couldn't. It's like I woke up without a past. It was like a clean slate of paper, clean book with nothing written on it. And that's when He started writing like His story over my story, you know? And from that day forward, I was like a child. I was like a new creation. He gave me a dream, like a vision of what to do next, and it was cooking. Like all I was good at was like selling drugs. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know anything else that I could do. Like my family, everybody's either engineer and nursing or something, and I'm like the black sheep that like the only thing I knew was drugs and the streets. I didn't know anything else. So he gave me like a vision of what to do next after prison, and that was to go to culinary school. So I did that. Yeah, I went to culinary school and got my almost got my degree, but yeah, he gave me a gift for cooking. So after Jesus came into my life and became Lord of my life just transformed. Like I'm like literally a new creation. I wake up full of joy every morning. I just full of life, full of like, oh, what's next? What are we gonna do today? Like just this joy that nothing and no one can give you this joy, this hope. You know, it was Jesus. Before, when I was without Jesus, I was so empty inside. I'm like, what's my purpose? Like, I was so empty that it hurt inside of me. Like my soul just ached from emptiness. And he filled me up, and every day I just wake up like a new person. I can't picture my life without him. I really can't. He's all that I want. He's all that I like think of. He's all that I dream of. You know, I have purpose, and it's him. He is my true purpose. I'm alive in this moment for him and to serve him. You know, like he died for me so I can live for him from this moment on. Like, this is my life. Like I know nothing else, you know, like the drugs and everything, that's not me anymore. So it's like, it's hard sometimes to share my story because I don't relate to that person anymore. Like that person is dead and gone, and who I am right now, I'm a walking miracle. I'm a walking miracle that there is a true and living God. If he can take someone like me and broken, a mess, like a thief, a liar, like just everything, like a slut, whatever you want to call it, you know, if he can take me and transform my life into something so beautiful, he can do it to anybody. Like there's anybody, you know? And I want to say, don't give up. Don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and his name is Jesus. He just surrender your life. Like, what do you have to lose? If you're broken, if you're hopeless, if you're depressed, just okay, that's it. Give it to him. Give your life to him and watch him transform your life. Like nothing you've ever seen or dreamed of. Just give your life to him. You have nothing else to lose. You know, just hold on and just give him that chance. Give him your broken pieces. Give him your ashes and watch him do something. You literally have nothing to lose. If you're feeling hopeless, lonely, depressed, and just down, just surrender your life to Jesus and just invite him into your life as Lord. Be like, Lord, come into my life, take my life. Here is my life, take it. It's yours. From this day forward, it is yours. I no longer live for myself, but I live for you and for you alone. Amen.